Yesterday it was Ford, today another bloodbath in the markets, and then today Stellantis is following with employee pricing discounts just like Ford. As I'm sure many of you have heard, this is coming in from Automotive News. Stellantis joins Ford with employee pricing discounts. Let's run through which models they're talking about, and I'm going to take you through some examples on what this actually means for the price. We'll see if they're just pulling another PR stunt like Ford. Actually, it was quite a smart move by Ford to capitalize on all the tariff headlines yesterday. Very, very cunning, that Ford. And just with this first statement, I'm already reading between the lines and saying, that doesn't sound right. They say, this week we launched aggressive and consistent incentive and marketing support for April, including an exciting and competitive enhancement that will allow our customers America's freedom of choice between employee price or current cash incentives. Oh, so they're saying they're going to make you choose between the employee price or the current cash incentives because Ram and others did have massive cash incentives on a lot of these vehicles. So you're not going to be able to double them up. They also say the spokesperson for General Motors said that the company does not plan to change its incentives offered in April. I bet this is because General Motors is just selling the crap out of vehicles right now, and they just don't need to incentivize them. Stellantis discounts are available on most 2024-2025 Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram nameplates. The exceptions include the Ram 1500 RHO and the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392, so those are not included. Wolf said the employee pricing will be easy for the dealers to administer and save buyers many thousands. Buyers can compare discounts with pre-existing cashback offers, but Wolf said the new program likely will be significantly better option for shoppers because that's just an unbelievable price for the consumer. Yeah, we'll see about that. Now, for those of you who don't know, I actually didn't do a Ram video on this yet, but they do talk about the Stellantis vehicles that are produced in Mexico. It says Stellantis produces numerous vehicles and parts in Mexico, including the electric Jeep Wrangler S that launched in the first quarter, the Jeep Compass, Ram heavy-duty trucks, the Ram ProMaster van, its twin-turbo Hurricane 6-cylinder engine, and its 6.4-liter Hemi engine, all parts in Mexico, so those will be affected by the tariffs, in theory. It goes on to say about 60% of the vehicles Stellantis sells in the US are assembled domestically versus 80% for Ford. So Stellantis is going to be hit harder by these tariffs if they go through. There's still so much uncertainty in the tariffs. Now, I did search for what does employee pricing mean for Ram, and the closest thing I could find for Chrysler on the whole or Stellantis on the whole was that employee pricing is a discount of up to 5% off the factory invoice price. So let's go find some examples of some Ram 1500s. So you know what's interesting here compared to Ford? Ford has like 60,000 F-150s for sale right now. Ram has 27,185 1500s. So not nearly as many available for Ram. That's surprising to me because all you hear in the headlines is how they're backed up on lots and this and that and the other. I don't see a lot listed on cars.com. Maybe they're in inventory, but they're not listed here. So that's a possibility. But man, this is a nationwide search. Usually they're pretty consistent. So just like the Ford video that I did, I'm going to take a 2024 Bighorn. So 2024, 8 miles on it, 36,630. And it is four-wheel drive, but it's the 3.6 liter Pentastar. So it's obviously not going to really compare power-wise to the 2.7 in Ford. Oh, geez. And then this poor Ram, listed 552 days ago. Woo! $13,000 total price reduction. So initially it was listed at $49,000, went to $45,000. Gosh, we've gone all the way down. Let's see. Holy smokes, look at all these price adjustments. Now it's down to $36,630. Now this is I'm assuming that this is not the final price that we're going to see off of this. So let's say let's go find invoice for this thing or see if we can find it. Again, just using the CarEdge website here to get invoice. So yeah, I think this is going to end up being similar to that Ford situation we saw where a lot of the discounts across the country are already in place. So you've got this 24 Bighorn quad cab, $45,867. So if we do a little math, 5% of that is going to be about $2,293. $2,293 off of that price right there is definitely more than the $36,630 that we see this already listed at. So a lot of them across the country, they're already way lower than the employee pricing is going to be in some areas. Now, if you're in an area like Colorado here where the prices are higher than this, maybe employee pricing is going to affect that a little bit. What I really want to find with the Rams is the Hurricane. So this is a 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn, $43,405. It's a $10,000 price drop. Now, keep in mind, this is probably before the employee pricing. And here we go. It is a four-wheel drive. It is the Hurricane. Did double check the VIN here. As you can see, it is a 3-liter Hurricane, which I'm sure people will argue that there's some people that say they'd rather have the Hurricane. Some people would rather have the reliability. I think a lot of people would rather have the 5.7 V8, but this has actually been a pretty sought-after engine in these. So the MSRP on this truck was $62,000, and it's already down to $43,405. So let's look at the price history here. Looks like it started out around $49,000 back in October of last year, and now it's down to $43,000. So $6,000 off is really what it is. It's not $10,000. So they're playing games. All these Dodge dealers, Ford dealers, pretty much everybody, they all play these games where they add something in. It's been sitting on the lot for 4 months, and then they dump the price and say, oh, look. But it's still $43,000 for the Hurricane. What if you could get a Hurricane for like $38,000, $39,000? Would you do it? I bet there's a lot of people that would. I bet if they could just have that power plant, even though it sucks gas like crazy, they still want that straight six and twin turbo. Let's see what this one would be. If it's already down to $43,405, let's see what it would be with this employee discount. So here we go on this 2025 invoice price. 4x4, 5'7" box. It is $48,906. So 5% off of that. 5% is about $2,500. That brings it down to about $46,406. So even if employee pricing is 5% off of invoice, what you're going to see is a lot of what we're seeing here, which is that these trucks, a lot of these trucks have been sitting already. And so some of the prices we see across the country, $43,000, probably already lower than what employee pricing would be on this, I would imagine. Let's drop this down to about a 100-mile range from where I am. So I'm in Colorado, just north of Denver, and you'll see changing the location of where we are here. Everything else is the same: four-wheel drive, crew cab, Bighorn. Minimum year is 2024. But now my lowest price really is going to be about $44,000 here. This one does have the Hurricane as well, although they're standard output Hurricanes. So this is the 2025, at least close to me. It's probably about, well, it's about 1,000 more, so it's not terrible. I like doing nationwide searches and seeing, sometimes I'll see Texas, Florida, California. You'll see a four-wheel drive that's discounted like 5,000 or 10,000 less than what I see here in Colorado, and a lot of that's just due to climate and other things. And the same thing goes on this one. It's for 83 days been on the lot. It started out listed at $53,819, and now we're dropped down to $44,320. So they are getting desperate. Desperation for them is obviously not good for everybody. Desperate for Ram, desperate for Ford and other companies. That doesn't mean we're going to see 20, 30% off of truck prices, but the prices are definitely dropping. If this employee pricing adds another $2,000 or $3,000, it's going to move more inventory, I think, for sure. My big concern is, after tariffs hit, are these manufacturers going to use this as an excuse to say, oh no, all the supply chains got disrupted from tariffs, and now we have no more inventory, and then they can go back to jacking prices up? Is that their long-term goal? It might be. So let me know in the comments, are you in the market for a Ram? Would you actually buy a Stellantis product if it was 5% off of invoice? Or do you feel like the prices have already been below invoice? I think in a lot of cases, the prices have already been down there close to invoice. It really depends on the model. So maybe there's some of these upper trims. Maybe they haven't been going for invoice yet, and maybe getting 5% off invoice, if it's truly that deal, maybe it will be a better deal than what we've seen so far. The employee pricing is only good through April 30th. If you are interested in buying, it is interesting to see where the market's going. I think Stellantis, Ford are capitalizing on some tariff headlines. It's a smart move by them marketing-wise because it gets people thinking about it. I saw a comment today on my Ford video about this, and the comment was, he has a friend that he knew wasn't in the market for a new truck, and he had specifically said, I'm not going to pay these prices. And then once he saw Ford say, we have employee pricing, immediately that person thought, oh, maybe I should be in the market. And they actually started looking at trucks again. So it's a very good marketing idea from both Ford and Stellantis, just to get people thinking, well, gosh, when am I ever going to see these prices again? So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Till next time, thanks for watching.